Hello there, Gillian again. So this is the first module and we're going to talk about the things you really need to know. These are not fun listening, so I always like to get them over with first, but you really need to know them. So the first one we're going to hit the big elephant in the room right on. We're going to talk about Sid's sudden infant cot death. Everybody's worried. Everybody's scared about it. I wish I could tell you exactly how to prevent it and what did it, but nobody knows. So we have come up with a list of fairly unusual things that have helped. Now we know they've helped because it's cut the rate of SIDS tremendously, and it is very rare now, I'm very happy to say. So I'm just going to go through the recommendations with you. Now we know they sound a bit weird. Some of them may even sound a bit contradictory. Some you'll say, well, I don't see how that works. We don't know how it works either. We think it's probably due to a combination of things, but we're not too sure. But because our babies are so precious, we're not going to do any tests. So until such times that we find out what does it, we will just follow the rules. And these are the rules. And they're not too bad when you actually start doing them. So let's get started. So the very first thing that started with SIDS, sudden infant death, was back to sleep. That was the very first thing everyone did, and nobody knew why this worked, but this was absolutely brilliant. So you have to have a firm mattress, waterproof mattress, flat mattress, and a mattress in good condition. Baby on his back to sleep, and we will talk about making up the ideal cot a little bit later, but most important, back to sleep. Now you may worry about this and think it makes their heads flat. Don't worry about that, it pops out later. Nature will compensate. By the time they get to about 3 months and they're turning, and even before, they will turn from side to side, roll over and things like that. But at the very beginning, you must put them on their back to sleep. That is very number one important. Next one we've discovered is feet to the foot of the bed. So here we have our trusty baby, feet to the bottom of the bed. This means that junior hair will not slide down. We think quality of air has got a lot to do with it. It just seems to work, and we'll go into that a bit more now. But the feet at the bottom of the bed means that no covers can come over, and he can't burrow down under anything that he's wearing. So feet to the bottom of the bed, very important in the cot and in the pram. Head uncovered. Temperature seems to have an awful lot to do with this, and overheating. We've discovered if our babies are kept just a little bit to the cool, they do a little bit better. So although when you come out of hospital, they'll be recommending a hat. Oh, these newborn babies have to wear a hat. Not after the minute you leave hospital. Never at home. The ideal temperature for a room is 16 to 20 degrees centigrade, and that's pretty sort of okay for us. Definitely we're coming into summer here, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But most of the baby monitors have a temperature gauge in them as well. So about 16 to 20, that's normal, comfortable rooms for all of us, is fine. So definitely no hat, because a baby will lose at least a third of their temperature through their head. So if you're preventing that, they're so tiny that they can't contain the heat, so you want them to be able to expel it. So that is very important, and we will talk as well, in fact we'll just do it now, about the dangers of overheating. People are very worried. How do I know when my baby is overheated? Because it's really difficult. Obviously not at the moment, but generally you're out and about, you've got the baby in the car, you're going to shopping centres. How do you know what's the right temperature? It's very easy. So just take these two fingers on the backs of them. These are very heat sensitive, much more heat sensitive than the front, and you can do a wee experiment. But you take these two and put them here on the breastbone of the baby. So on our baby, you go straight to the skin. A bit hard to get on this one, we're just going to go sort of underneath. Just take your jumper off a bit. But you can do this at any time. You never have your baby so up that you can get your fingers down, and you just try here on the breastbone, there. And the baby, if you feel comfortable, should feel the same as you. Easy peasy, do it 1,000 times a day if you want to. That's the easiest way to get the core temperature. Now, babies naturally have cold hands and feet. This is because their circulation hasn't developed yet. Do not worry about that. Look for the core temperature. That is the most important thing. People think, oh, I'll put mitts on, I'll put gloves on. Next thing you know, they're roasting hot here and you're playing a dangerous game. Why? We don't know. We just know it is. So for safety's sake, check here. You will get a feel for it very soon. Basic rule, whatever you're wearing and one more layer. So today I'm wearing a sort of t-shirty thing. So Junior here is indeed wearing a t-shirty thing. And when I put her down, I'll put a little blanket just under her arms here. And she'll be perfectly comfortable. Put her down to sleep like that. Little blanket to here. Happy baby. We recommend that you keep the babies in the room with you for at least 6 months at night. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on with this, and there's a lot of stuff out there for you to buy. There's these super clip-on cots, which have got a lot better. The first ones were actually very dangerous. We had some unhappy incidents, but they're all pretty good now, as long as they come up to British standard, or if you're watching us in another country, to whatever the standard is of safety in your country. So check that. Some of the cheaper ones, the first ones that came from that were not correctly monitored, we had some really hard incidents. The baby rolled into corners and weren't stable, all sorts of things. So we quite like that. That's quite good. Beside you is fine. Now, if you are a smoker, or if somebody's been drinking, this is not a good thing to do. Put the baby in the cot at the foot of the bed. A lot of people just put an actual cot beside the bed where you can just pop your hand out and pat them, you know. And Luton Junior gets upset during the night, you give them a little pat. It's okay, darling, it's all right, mummy's here. And they quite often just go back to sleep. And it's really nice for you to know they're okay. But if you've been smoking, really be very careful. We know that secondary smoke, even though you don't smoke in the bedroom, even though you only have 1 or 2 a day, there's something there. We don't know what it is. So please, smokers, act cautiously. And that includes daddy and partner, partner on the other side, that's fine. The other thing we recommend is fresh air. Air has something to do with it. There's lots and lots of theories. Is it CO2 gathering? Maybe that's why the back to sleep works. Is it nitrogen gathering? We don't know. What we do know is that a flow of air works. So we recommend you always have a little window or a door open. In the summer, and some people do this all year anyway, is have a fan which is blowing against a wall, which just gives a gentle breeze around, just keeps everything moving. This is very healthy for everybody, very healthy for you as well. So beware of overheating. Back to sleep. Keep the air flowing. And while we're on this, beware bumpers. Bumpers are very pretty, but again, they stop the flow of air. So please consider that. Always we're looking for fresh air, safety, and you will be fine. I got everything. I do. The other one is thought to help is breastfeeding, which is great. Doesn't work for everybody. I'm a failed breastfeeder. I really wanted to, it just didn't work. So I'm not going to judge, but that is thought to help. Again, nobody knows why, but we'll talk about breastfeeding and things later. The dangers, well, the biggest danger I've already mentioned is the overheating, and that's why we want to have the safe cot. So we have the flat cot, we have a waterproof surface. You can put a folded towel. I quite often do that. Nobody likes lying just against plastic, do they? So if you get a nice big fluffy towel, tuck it in onto the mattress and then put your fitted sheet. That lifts the babies up a little bit from the plastic. They don't get so hot at their backs. Feet to the bottom and bed close to here. And a lot of people are using the baby, oh crikey, what those called, the little outfits, that sleeves here. I've forgotten the name of them. Like baby bags. Their arms are out. Those are fine. They never come up, but of course you don't use any covers with those. You put things on underneath, but if you're going to use one of those, keep to a low tog rate. There is a very nice website and plenty of stuff out there that will give you advice. Crikey, I'll give you those at the end. I forgot the name of that again. But they'll give you ideas of what tog rates to use, but very light. So if you're using one of the baby bags, you just have baby in his baby grow and the bag, and that's just it. One of our most dangerous things that we have come a long way is that people in the winter time thought, oh, it'd be great to put a hot water bottle in or electric blanket. No, don't do that. Very, very, very bad. If you want to warm the bed up first, because babies don't like going onto a cold bed, use a hot water bottle to make it warm and then take it away. We've had some very sad incidents through the years of babies falling asleep in the corners of sofas, but I think people are fairly clear on that. That speaks for itself. In a corner, lack of air, so be aware. Some sad incidents come every year of people falling asleep nursing a baby. So you're up at night and baby feeds and you fall asleep. And this is very dangerous because baby here will soak up your heat very, very quickly. Cannot get rid of it. So please do not get too comfortable when you're feeding. Use a more upright chair, and whenever your baby has stopped feeding, put them in their cot for safety's sake. It really is important. And if you get used to putting them down, they will know that. They'll have a little wriggle. Okay, I'm going to sleep now. It's very nice. So those are the important things. I think I've got most of them. Oh, dummies. People worry a lot about dummies. We're neutral on dummies. There's a lot of argument to say they're great. There's a lot of argument to say, but there's nothing to say they do any harm. Breastfeeding mothers, try and avoid a dummy for the first 4 weeks because you should be breastfeeding. And again, we'll talk about that when we come to the breastfeeding bit. So there you go. That is your back to sleep, or that is your SID stuff. Let's run down them. Back to sleep, foot to foot, head uncovered, beware overheating, same room as you, flat mattress, and air moving. So that's the SIDS done, and it's very easy. You'll get into it very quickly. The other thing we want to talk about is much shorter, so we may as well get this awful stuff out of the way. The 3 areas of danger, just as you come out of hospital, there's 2 in mum and 1 on baby. Mum, your breasts, whether you're feeding or not, may become engorged. You know when they come engorged, they get very, very sore. So if they become engorged, you will probably need to ring the doctor. In fact, you will need to ring the doctor. If you're feeding and that goes away, that's fine, but if they become painfully engorged, ring the doctor. If you have red tendrils, like the vein lines, but these are the milk ducts, can get infected. If you see a red tendril, ring the doctor. If you get a lump, ring the doctor. This is all to avoid mastitis. Anyone who's ever had mastitis will tell you years and years later they still shudder. It is extremely painful. It's because infection can get in to where the milk is, and of course the milk is sweet and warm and bacteria just multiplies. So what we're trying to avoid mastitis. Mastitis can cause blood poisoning, and septicemia is another word for blood poisoning, so it's very important. So these are things you work with. These are red flags, ring immediately. 111, get antibiotics, okay? If you have a temperature, definitely you're in stage 2, so you want really immediate attention. This is attention within 4 hours. If you find it at night, you make an appointment first thing in the morning. If you find it in the morning when you wake up, make sure you're seen that day. Red area, ladies. The loss, your Lycra, the loss that you've got. We've got to be sure there's no products that are being withheld. So you know this if you get a sort of heavy smell on your pad, which can go from heavy to fishy. You can get clots. These are due to, as I say, retained products. So you want antibiotics, you want to get this seen to. So this is not a 4-hour job, but it is most definitely within 12 hours. Get that seen to. On the baby, you have the baby's umbilicus here, and the cord will still be attached. Now it can take up to 10 days for the cord to fall off. Some babies, the cord falls off within 48 hours. It's just, how long's a piece of string, literally. So the midwife, you'll have the clip on or an elastic. Some people use clips still. The elastics stay on, but the clips are taken off. Midwife will do that for you. But when you're looking at the umbilicus, check around the area. You're looking for signs of infection. So if it's red, it's hot, it's smelly, it's sticky, any of those things, this is a 4-hour job. So you want attention very quickly. You must ring for attention and get that seen to, because it's a direct way into the baby and our horrible friend septicemia. So we do not want that red area. If in doubt, ring your midwife, ring 111, ring the surgery. Don't worry about it. There's plenty of people out there who will help. These are important. They need to be seen to. There are a couple of others. We'll talk about meningitis and we'll talk about thrush later, but not in this one. So that's the end of this one. Well done. These are the horrible things that need to be discussed. There's a few others we'll talk about when we get to the sick baby, but these are things you need to know now. And if you're aware of these, if any of these happen, like the mastitis, sore breasts, you will get it seen to immediately. Take care, and I look forward to you talking next time.